Hello, welcome to Technoveda Solutions.
In this video, we will discuss the concepts of class and objects with respect to C++ programming. Let's begin. Class and objects. Class are user-defined data types that encapsulates member data and member functions. Both member data and member functions are defined inside the class, or class encapsulates them. Data variables are referred as attributes of the object, and member functions define the behavior of the object. Attributes basically are, we can also say, a property associated with the object or attributes associated with the object, which we define in terms of data variables. Okay, they are also called as data members. Definition of mere class does not consume any memory. Just by declaring the class, we are not consuming any memory there, or memory is not consumed just by creating a class. Memory is consumed only when object of that class is created. Just having a class definition does not consume any memory. Creation of object is referred as instantiation of the class, or we can say objects are the called the instances of the class, and each object is allocated a separate memory for its data members. Whatever the data members we have, they will be separate for each objects. When we declare data members and functions inside the class, there are certain limitations on accessing them, that is defined based on the access specifiers. So basically there are three types of access specifiers: public, protected, and private. Any member which is defined under public can be accessed both inside and outside the class, and those members will also participate in inheritance. We can inherit those members. Whereas when we declare a member under protected, they can be accessed only within the class. We cannot access these members from outside the class. However, these also participate in inheritance. And the last type is private. They can be accessed only from inside the class or within the class, and also they do not participate in inheritance. Private members cannot be inherited. Okay, so here an example how to define a class. So class is a keyword, and class name we have given as car, and we open a set of braces within which the class is defined. Now first we are taking example with the public access specifier. Inside within that public, we are defining the member variables and member functions. Member variables are also referred as attributes. Then we define a function, and will be writing a function body, what that function has to do. Once we close the class, immediately there only we can create an object for that particular class, as we create a variables for the structures. Similar to that, we can create a objects here itself, or we can also create an object in the main function, wherein we have to tell which class and what's the object name. So another object is created. Now the memory allocated for this object and memory allocated for this object will be completely different. So both the members variable will be allocated separately for both the objects. Now when we want to access these members using the object, we will be using a dot operator. So object name dot member which we want to access, a member variable or a member function, it can be accessed using a dot operator. One more important thing is that the member function what we define, the functions can be defined either inside the class or we can also define member functions outside the class. If we define inside the class, directly we write return data type, function name, and if any arguments to be passed, then the list of arguments and then the function body. Whereas when we want to define a function outside the class, then we have to use this scope resolution operator. So we have to mention return data type, then the class name, then the scope to which that function should belong to. That scope should be given, then the function name and argument list. Then we can write the function body as a function. Okay. So this is how we define the class and we create a objects for the class. Constructors. So constructors are also a functions, but there are special member functions having same name as a class name. The name of these functions will be same as that of a class to which they belong. These constructors do the job of memory allocation for the objects. Whenever we create an object, depending on the data members what we have for that class, the memory will be allocated by these constructors. And these constructors are automatically invoked. A programmer need not write an explicit instruction to call the constructors. Constructors are automatically invoked, and we can have a multiple definitions of the constructors. That means constructors overloading is allowed. That we will discuss in detail when we discuss about overloading. Then we have different types of constructors, that is default constructor, parameterized constructor, and copy constructor. If we don't write a constructor, that is if the programmer do not write a constructor, then compiler will create a default constructor by itself. That is called as default constructor. Like functions, we can pass an arguments to these constructors for initializing the members. That is called parameterized constructors. When we want to pass the arguments to the constructor, then we call that as parameterized. Default constructor are usually non-parameterized. They will not be parameterized. They will be non-parameterized. We have to write explicitly if we want a parameterized constructors. And then copy constructors are used to copy the content of one object to the other object. That is copy constructor. We will discuss about copy constructor when we discuss about the pointers, because we use a pointers there. So then I will discuss copy constructor in detail. Then similarly we have a destructors. Destructors are also a special functions having the same name as a class, but it is prefixed with the tilde operator. That is, destructors will have a tilde operator. These are also called automatically when objects are destroyed. Constructors are called when objects are created. Destructors are called when objects are destroyed. Okay. So both these things we need not call explicitly, they are automatically invoked. Destructors deallocate the memory allocated to the object's data members. Similar to what we discussed in constructors, they allocates the memory. Destructors deallocates the memory given allocated to the objects. Okay, and we can have only one destructor for class. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share.